Are you considering moving to Montgomery County, Maryland? Well, I have a video talking about the 5 reasons that you should move to Montgomery County, Maryland, but I also want to give you 5 things to consider before you move to Montgomery County. This may seem an odd video for a realtor that lives in Montgomery County, Maryland and makes their living based on people moving to Montgomery County, Maryland, to talk to you about reasons not to move to Montgomery County, Maryland. But I also think it's very important before people make this life-changing and massive financial investment to have all the information available to them, both the good and the bad. The number 1 deterrent for people moving to Montgomery County, Maryland is the price. Montgomery County is expensive. The average sales price in the US is $416,000. The average sales price in Maryland is $486,000, but the average sales price in Montgomery County, Maryland is $575,000. This would mean that Montgomery County is 19% higher and more expensive than the rest of Maryland, and nearly 35% more expensive than the rest of the US. Fun fact, the most expensive home currently for sale in Montgomery County, Maryland is former Washington Commanders football team owner Dan Snyder's house that has recently hit the market for $35 million. You should go check out the pictures. It is a pretty amazing house. To showcase just how expensive Montgomery County can be and what you can get in Montgomery County versus going a little bit further outside of Montgomery County, I want to showcase 2 different properties. For example, popular part of Montgomery County is Silver Spring, Maryland. So I want to give an example of a $575,000 house, which is the median sales price, and what that gets you here. You can get a 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath home, right around 2,000 square feet. I wouldn't expect it to be overly updated, but definitely move-in ready. You probably shouldn't expect too big of a yard at that price point, but you'll still have some green space. If you go 30 minutes outside of Montgomery County and you stay in that same price point at $575,000, you can get 5 bedrooms, 3.5 bath, nearly 3,000 square feet, and much more yard space. So as you can see, living in Montgomery County, it's going to cost you. Number 2, traffic. Traffic is terrible. Roads like I-270, 495, which are the major highways here in Montgomery County and all throughout Maryland to go into the DC area, those could become parking lots between the hours of 3:30 and 6:30, and quite honestly, just on random times as well. You could be driving at noon on a Tuesday, and for whatever reason, it's going to take you an extra 30 minutes to get somewhere. So if you're driving around in this area, be prepared and expect traffic. There are a few ways to avoid the traffic. Naturally, there's back roads, things of that nature, but if you need to stay on the highways, carpooling is one of the best ways to avoid the traffic, because you got to take the HOV lane. If you have an electric vehicle, or if you have 2 or more people in your car, you get a special lane with a lot less traffic and you can get there a lot quicker. The second alternative would be using the metro, a very popular form of transportation in the area. It has 98 stops, so it'll take you all throughout Maryland, DC, and Virginia, with many of those located here in Montgomery County. You do have to pay for it, but it is a great alternative if you need to get there in a hurry in a more predictable fashion. One thing to factor in though is with the traffic, it really can add an additional 2 to 4 hours in your workday. Number 3, building and zoning policies are strict in Montgomery County, very strict. Getting a permit for a building can take a long time. You're probably looking at anywhere between 3 to 4 months just in your permit process before you actually break ground on a new construction project here in Montgomery County. Permits for renovations, those are a little bit less than building a brand new home. Those are usually between 1 and 2 months, but still a considerable wait time. Smaller projects such as a bathroom renovation or a kitchen renovation, those are reasonable. Those are usually 1 to 2 weeks and can be streamlined as well. While there are many large businesses headquartered here in Montgomery County, business-wise, it is much less nimble than some of our surrounding competitors, if you will, like Northern Virginia and other surrounding areas when it comes to business-friendly policies. Montgomery County can be very strict or stringent when it comes to giving tax incentives to corporations. They can also be very strict when it comes to zoning policies and accommodating a large headquarters. While there are a lot of large companies headquartered here in Montgomery County, could be quite a few more. And I think there would be quite a few more if the policies weren't so strict for businesses. And it doesn't accommodate businesses the way that some of our surrounding areas like Northern Virginia do. One example to highlight this is Amazon wanted to have their second headquarters located here in Montgomery County, and the local government wouldn't work with them. They wouldn't make it so that it made sense for Amazon to build here and to bring a massive amount of new jobs and revenue and things of that nature. And because Montgomery County wouldn't work with Amazon ended up building in Northern Virginia. And what that did for Northern Virginia is it absolutely skyrocketed the real estate prices in the surrounding area and really stimulated that local economy. Something that you can tell I'm a little salty about. I really wish Amazon came here. Number 4, if you're looking for small town manners, they can be hard to find in Montgomery County. In other words, people can be rude. People tend to be in a hurry around here, kind of move around with their heads down, just want to get where they're going. So if you're walking down the sidewalk, don't be surprised if the person passing you just has their head down and doesn't give you that friendly wave you were hoping for. This isn't to say there aren't friendly people. There's lots of friendly people here in Montgomery County, but just something to be aware of, that even though we are below the Mason-Dixon line and technically a southern state, you may not get that southern charm that you were expecting. Number 5, privacy is a rare commodity in Montgomery County. Most lots in Montgomery County are under 1/4 of an acre. If you go back to our previous example of a $575,000 house and how much land you can get outside of the county versus in the county, unless you want to spend lots and lots of money, in general, homes are pretty close together with relatively small lots. And that's because the land here in Montgomery County is just very expensive. I'll give you an example. One of the newer communities here in Montgomery County in Clarksburg, Maryland, all of the homes there are built basically right on top of each other. There's about 6,000 homes in this community, and each of these homes has about 1/10 of an acre of a lot. So each home is built on about 4,000 square feet for the lot. And they're building pretty big houses, so the homes themselves are anywhere between 4,000 and 5,000 square feet, and they're literally right next to each other. I'll give you an example of a home I recently sold in that neighborhood to help you better understand what it looks like. This home was sold in the Cabin Branch neighborhood of Clarksburg on 1/10 of an acre, sold for about $850,000. It was beautiful inside. However, there really is no yard. This isn't to say that there aren't plenty of places in Montgomery County that do have lots of land and you can get more privacy. Those places, though, they're going to cost you. One of the most popular places, and something you've probably heard of, is Potomac, Maryland. A lot of people know it from the Real Housewives of Potomac. In Potomac, you're going to find massive estates in general. You're going to find lots of land, and you're definitely going to find your privacy there. However, you're also going to find homes that can get up to $35 million, like Dan Snyder's house that we were talking about earlier, the former Washington Commanders owners. If you're not looking to spend the Potomac prices, there are plenty of places in Maryland that do offer a good alternative at a more budget-friendly price. Some of this places in Montgomery County that I recommend you consider would be Laytonsville, Maryland. It borders Gaithersburg. Poolsville has quite a bit more land than the surrounding areas. It also has very, very good schools. I suggest considering the outskirts of Clarksburg. I did mention that there's new developments in Clarksburg that don't have much land. However, if you go a little bit further out in Clarksburg, Maryland, kind of in the western part of the county, you're going to find farms and a lot more land than the inner parts of Clarksburg. In summary, there's definitely a few things that you should consider before moving to Montgomery County, but there are also some great aspects of Montgomery County to consider as well. If you want to find out more about what draws people to live in Montgomery County, watch this video here. Thanks for checking out my video. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week.